Whether you're just entering the workplace or nearing retirement, there are a few pitfalls you'd want to avoid while planning your retirement. Here to join us with some tips is CPA Kimberly Washington. So what are some of the pitfalls that people might not be thinking about?
So one of the pitfalls is people don't realize that Social Security could be taxable. So once you get into retirement, you start receiving those Social Security benefits. If you receive income from other sources, it could be taxable. But generally speaking, if you're only receiving Social Security, then it's not taxable. So you want to do some tax planning beforehand before you start receiving those benefits.
And that could be something else, maybe something from a business that's coming in. You're retired, you're sitting at home, but you still have ownership or something.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
great. And then what you want to do is really understand when is the best time to start taking Social Security.
Right. So if you start taking it early at the age of 62 years old, you're going to receive a reduced benefit. So it's going to be cut by a certain percentage. However, if you wait until full retirement age, and it really depends on the year that you're born, but generally speaking about 66 years of age, then you'll receive full retirement. But that's a great tool on the SSA.gov website that you can put in your information, determine what's the best time to start taking it for you so that you can plan accordingly and see how much money you're expected to get.
So it could between 4 and 5 years more of work to make sure you get your full Social Security benefits.
Yes.
But if you say, hey, I just don't want to work anymore,
you
take
say,
it at
I
62.
need it. Yeah. So you just want to understand it before you take it.
Sure. And then you also want to avoid tax penalties in retirement that could happen.
Right. So if you have a traditional IRA, you have to start pulling that money down at the age of 70 and a half. So if you don't do it, what happens, the IRS is going to penalize you up to 50% of the minimum required distribution. So you have to keep that in mind. If you have a Roth IRA, you're not required to do so. So when you think about planning, this is the time to start thinking about which way do I want to go about my retirement accounts.
All right. So that's definitely something to think about, especially if you're getting started. Maybe you might want to start a Roth IRA so that you can
at least consider and see what works best for you. Of course, some other factors that you want to consider is your tax bracket and things of that nature, but you do want to consider that.
And the last thing we want to talk about, start saving early.
Start saving early because it really does make a difference. I did a small calculation. I said an individual who's 20 years old, he starts saving $2,000 a year, and they're assuming a rate of 6%. At the age of 65, that individual will have about $425,000. But if that same individual waits until he's 40 years old, and he doubles that amount, the same type of return, he only have $145,000. So start as soon as you can. And hey, if you started late, just start today. Just start as soon as you can.
So I mean that really puts it in perspective. You know, the sooner you start saving, it's harder to catch up if you start saving later, even if you put more into it.
Yeah, even if you double up the amount. So you really want to start saving as soon as you can because it can make a huge difference in your returns.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Thank
Time
you.
now is 7.